I knew that I was funny, you know, ever since I was a kid, probably, because I figured out a long time ago that the world is probably broken up into two different groups, you know, one that is funny and one that is not, and I figured I was in the funny camp. I thought that I honestly, you know, I knew what would be funnier given a choice between a way to say a line or make a move or something like that. I could probably figure that out.
Was it fun to do?
It was the hardest work I think I've ever done, purely as an actor. This is how you make these movies. You stand in front of a microphone and you scream your head off for the better part of 6 hours. That's my recollection of what it was. Long periods of recording the same lines over and over and over again, without any give and take from anybody else, you know. So I mean, you had an understanding of the scene, you had an understanding of the storyboards and the animatic videos that they make. But other than that, you just got to imagine you see it all happening before your eyes.
It's kind of like a guy doing.
You are now driving along with me in my electric car. This is an electric car, not a hybrid, not a gas plug-in. This is an all-electric car. Here's what it looks like. It looks just like the Scion XB. In fact, it used to be a Scion XB until the motor was taken out, special battery packs were put in, and along with an electric drivetrain. You might be thinking, what's the range on this E-Box that I drive along? Well, it's about over 100 miles, somewhere between 100 and 120 miles per charge. How do I charge it up? Well, it just so happens I use a plug that looks just like this. Plug it in overnight, the next day, you've got 100 miles at least per charge. This is my second electric car. I got another one made by Toyota. It's got over 30,000 miles on it, not a single one of them requiring a single drop. Woody is a passionate guy who throws himself into every action. You notice how, like, Woody just runs across a lawn? He does it full bore. He doesn't hesitate for a moment. As soon as he has an instinctive thought of, I have to help them or I have to run away, he does it with 100% commitment. You got to love that about anybody.
The first time we talked about the movie, he said, I can't wait to shoot that machine gun nest at the radar installation. He had already mapped this thing out in his mind. And when we got to the location, there was one problem. The sun wasn't in the right place. Stephen had thought the set was built this way, but it was built this way. So he could not shoot it because the sun was not going to give him the light that he wanted. And he was mad, perhaps with himself or perhaps with someone who didn't tell him what the compass points were. So he went on a walk, and when he comes back, he says, okay, I know how I'm going to shoot it. And it's a different perspective from any other assault that we had shot in the film. And if you're not Stephen, if you don't have this lifetime of cinematic language in your head, that's a different kind of day. But because his eye is so connected to his brain and every movie that he's ever seen and every movie that he's ever made, he just went out and said, here's how we're going to do this, and that's it. Incredible.